my Facebook has decided to slow right down, but I think I'm almost ready to start. Just getting everything happening. Hey Mel, hope you're all well. Today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming workshop on the 4th. I'm going to be talking a little bit about kind of my own processes with goal setting and reflecting and all of that jazz, and kind of talk you through how I do it, and then a bit about the workshop that's going to happen on Monday. So it's only a couple days away. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do it every single year. Last year at this time, I was on a retreat in Transylvania, and I was doing this workshop with 15 people, looking out over the mountains, and it was absolutely incredible. So yeah, Monday's workshop is on the 4th of January. It's 7:30 to 9:30, so it's 2 hours. It is, I'll talk more about it in detail, but it's going to be partially kind of journaling and writing, and the second half is going to be a real in-depth visualization about kind of future you and taking you on a little Nidra experience. So it's a really lovely 2 hours in the evening. You can do it on your own and really like coop yourself up and do some serious brainstorming, or if you want to get the family involved, you can totally do that as well. So yeah, it's going to be 2 hours. So I've been journaling and goal setting for probably the last 4 years. I do it with my partner Harriet every year. And then we keep that journaling that we've been doing, and then we sort of reflect on it. So the first year, obviously, we didn't have the reflection on the journaling and the goal setting that we did. But every year going forwards, we've had that. We sort of have stopped the big New Year's partying, and obviously this year, and tend to do it either on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. We have been doing it on New Year's Eve the last few years. We have some really nice cocktails, get really nice dinner, and then we sit down. And we did that on the 1st this year. Not that there was many other options of what to do. So we got really nice takeaway and did our journaling and reflecting. Each year we have the same process that we do. We evaluate different aspects of our life. Things like family. So not only the family that we're trying to make, failing at it terribly, but also like the wider family. So Harriet's family, my family, aunts and uncles, all that jazz. We reflect on friends, so friendships that we've made, maybe friendships that we've had kind of conflict with, looking at those friends, not kind of figuring out who to get rid of, but just how to be better friends, which I think is important, especially now that everybody's going to be struggling and finding life a little bit more challenging. We look at finances. It's not always fun to look at, especially this year for both Harriet and I. She runs a live events business. I run a yoga studio. I mean, we've been closed more than we've been open. But the finances is a really, really important one. And I would say like getting on top of your finances isn't something you should do yearly. It's something you should do weekly or monthly. We look at work. So both of us run our own businesses. So we really spend a lot of time evaluating that. But I used to be a school teacher, and you know, we'd look at kind of my goals within that as well. So you don't have to run your own business to look at work. We look at things like intimacy, sex, adventure, like all that kind of jazz. You know, I think that's really important if you're in a relationship, evaluating kind of your wants, your needs, all that jazz, super, super important. And then kind of learning and personal growth. So Haz and I every year do courses. We kind of try to learn as much as we can this year, or last year rather, 2020. We're now in 21. I'm going to have to get used to saying that now. I did so much learning, and not all of it like going to courses, but figuring out how to work tech, figuring out how to edit, all of that has been a real kind of brain challenge for me. So this year when we did the reflecting on what we've learned, it was like crazy, crazy, crazy. So we spend time reflecting throughout the year, making time to be grateful for what we've accomplished. And I think that was really important this year. We've obviously, Haz and I have had a really tough year, as so many people have. But the sort of tail end of the year involved 2 miscarriages for me as well. And I just didn't want to leave going into 2021 having like a massive hate on for 2020. So we wrote down all the things we were grateful for as well. And actually that list was banging. It was huge. A lot of it had to do with like personal and business. But it, you know, it made me focusing on just those really big, bad things that happened less painful. And sometimes it can be painful, sometimes it can be uncomfortable, especially when you pull out last year's goals. Sometimes you don't mean them. Sometimes, life gets in the way. When I was looking at last year's goals in what I wanted to make in my business in Hot Pod, it was really hard. It was really hard to look at, okay, I want to make this much revenue. And then I was closed for most of the year. So that was tough. Goal setting and reflecting on those goals isn't easy. But I would say, like, peel the Band-Aid off, get stuck into it, because you never know what you're going to learn. You're looking at a year, another year has passed. Like I said, there were some really tough things for Haz and I to look at and analyze. There was a lot of time where we were doing IVF. There was obviously 2 pregnancies, 2 losses of pregnancy. But there was a lot of silver linings along the way. And I think it's really important to highlight that. You need to spend time with hurt. You need to spend time with the icky stuff to move on from it. If you just kind of tuck it away, it will resurface, and probably at a time that you're not ready. At least if you're going to take that time to analyze, to reflect, to look back, then you're prepped for it. You're in a safe space rather than that grief kind of showing up when you're not ready. So we also, we look at the last year's goals and analyze that. You spend time looking over the words that you wrote a year ago, and you start to realize how much you've changed. So I think that's really interesting. When I look back at what I've journaled about in January, a year previous, the person that I was when I wrote those goals, and then the person I am a year later reflecting, you see that growth. And I think that's really important. And yeah, it's weird to think that a year ago today, I was in Transylvania running a retreat with a very different outlook on life. Very, very different. I mean, when we left for that retreat, this is interesting. When we left for the retreat and flew, no one was wearing masks. And there was like kind of discussions about China having this outbreak of a virus. And then a week later, when we flew home, almost everyone, well, not almost everyone, quite a few people at the airport were starting to wear masks. And I remember all of us were like, ooh, this is weird. People are wearing masks. What's going on? And then literally, less than 2 months later, we went into national lockdown. So Haz and I do smaller versions of these kind of big reflecting and goal setting every month. And I've talked about it maybe a month ago. And these, hey, Jenny, these are our life dinners. So our life dinners are like small, compact versions of these big, 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 big goal settings. And, they don't have to be anything too crazy. You just sit down with your partner and you talk about the same kind of topics. So ours are always sort of the same. And you sort of reflect on the last month. So how did it go? What did you achieve? What did you not achieve? And then you set some goals just for 30 days. And then you sit down again at that dinner and you look at those. And that's a really nice way for us to stay connected as a couple, but also to make sure that we're making progress and to make sure that, we're reflecting back to those big goals that we set. So we're always on a trajectory. I don't know if I said that properly, trajectory. And, we try to get there. So we look at, finances, work, relationship. If we're getting in lots of rows, the life dinner is like a safe time to talk about why we're getting in those rows. And the first one that we did was actually on the Isle of Skye at an amazing seafood restaurant. We're very excited to do these at restaurants again. So yeah, it's a time for us to kind of retune with each other. It's a time to look at the progress that you're making. And yeah, it's a time to make effort with what the other person wants as well. So all of that, what will the workshop look like on Monday night? So Monday at 7:30 p.m. for 2 hours, I'm going to be doing a workshop where I lead you through some of the ways that I kind of reflect and journal and set goals. So you're going to be really targeted time where you can sit down and journal about these things, where you can start to set these goals. And then at the end, I'm going to lead you through a Nidra. So we'll start the workshop with a bit of breathing exercises to just help us arrive, help us settle. And then we'll spend approximately an hour after that journaling, reflecting, and goal setting. And I've got a booklet that you'll all get, and you can print it out. You can write on it on the computer, or you can write in a journal. I prefer writing in a journal, and it just feels a little bit more tangible. and it's nice to get away from the computer. So yeah, I'll be emailing a workbook that you can use. I would say get your favorite pen, get your favorite journal. If you want to do it on a laptop, then bring your laptop. I would say get some pillows, like make the space that we're going to do the workshop in as amazing and comfortable and cozy as you can. So pillows, blankets, maybe you light some candles, some incense, get your favorite tunes on, maybe have a bolster if you have a bolster. And we're going to be writing about kind of these things. So what have we achieved in 2020? What are we grateful for in 2020? What is your personal definition of success and happiness? Okay, it's really important. And these will change over time as well. What do you want 2021 to look like? We'll be reflecting and goal setting about our own personal life, our business life, family life, intellectual life, spiritual life, and social life. So we're going to be really kind of breaking them down into categories. We'll be looking at what we want in these areas and then setting some goals to improve or change in 2021. And then finally, we're going to be spending some time just really kind of creating this image of what we want 2021 to look like. Now, obviously, it's quite hard to totally plan, okay? We don't know what's going on. We don't know when we're going to go out of lockdown, maybe go back into lockdown. So, plan with a pencil, if that makes sense. We will be writing quite a lot, okay? So between 60 minutes to 45 minutes. And then we are going to stop and we're going to do a guided meditation called Yoga Nidra. I love it. You can get tucked up in bed or get yourself really cozy on the ground. And this form of meditation taps into the subconscious mind, okay? So we've sort of planted all these seeds through our journaling exercise. And then what we're going to do in that Yoga Nidra is kind of allow them to start growing, to start taking root. And Yoga Nidra is wonderful. That's like my best definition for you. You don't need to know how to meditate. You don't need to have any previous experience or training for this workshop. It's accessible and it can be done by yourself or with your family as well. Yoga Nidra is a process and it's a state. So it's the process of this type of meditation, but it's also this sort of in-between state between sleep and wakedness. So it's a set of techniques to help you tap into that subconscious. It's usually done lying down, so we'll be really cozy and we're looking to get to that in-between state. So Yoga Nidra means yogic sleep, but it's not necessarily about going to sleep. It's about getting that place that's kind of this is awake, this is asleep, and you're existing here. So it's quite fun. It's the exploring of different states of consciousness, and it's about being awake in that state, so really connecting to it. So we're going to be occupying the borderline between awake and asleep and tapping into that subconscious to bring about all those things that we want to do and to sort of almost like you're watching a TV screen of the person that you want to be in 2021. Just making sure that I'm talking about everything. So yeah, what's really interesting about Yoga Nidra is you can change the sort of states of the brain and you can really start to fill in some positivity. And if you are someone like myself who tends to have negative perspective of life, then you can really start to change that into positive. And we'll be looking at that future you. We'll allow the seeds to grow of the subconscious. And we're going to paint a picture of what we want 2021 to look like. I believe that everybody should do this type of self-improvement and connection work at least once a year. Okay, at least. I've talked about it already. I do the life dinner, so I'm doing it 13 times a year because I'm doing it on the 1st or around the 1st, quite in depth. And then I'm also doing it once a month. So 12 life dinners a year. So I just wanted to show you, and I'm hoping that I can get back enough. So this is my journaling that I did on the 21st. So I'll just come a little bit closer. This is my accomplishments, okay? And this is a lot better than what I did in 2019. So loads and loads of really great stuff that happened. And this was super important for me. And I'm going to actually put this up on the wall to remind myself of the good stuff that happened in 2019. And then this bit's really important. We're going to do all of this stuff on Monday. This is the lessons and the mistakes. So these are the kind of things that didn't go so well or things that I don't want to repeat again. So I mean, interestingly, one of these is I've written bricks and mortar and then like a bunch of question marks. And that's because I'm at this like, oh God, is my business going to survive this? What do I do? So that's, something to think about. I also have here, don't get excited about a pregnancy until you have a scan. And, that's an unfortunate thing for me, but that is something that I really need to work on to protect myself. That's obviously a very personal goal. It's not a goal. It's something that I've learned. And then there's two important things. So on this side, these are my goals, okay? Loads of them. And again, these are kind of written, so these are my business goals. These are my learning goals, my house goals, my family goals, adventure, content. I've got written us, so that's me and Haz, health, and then personal. So these are kind of what we call outcome goals, okay? So outcome goals are like, I want to get 5,000 people on my mailing list. So that's an outcome goal. And I'll talk about moving to a process goal in a second. Actually, I'll just stay with it. So once you have written your outcome goal, you then want to break that down into processes. So, if I just write that one thing, but I don't write the steps to get there, then it's quite hard to meet that goal. So for my email list, I've then got about 5 or 10 points of things that I need to do. So I need to send weekly mailers that are full of value so that the people who are on my mailing list see the point of those mailers. For instance, Haz and I want to have more adventure, have more fun. So we're going to plan in van trips and we're going to really make sure that we've got some fun things while we're on the van trip. So just overly planning that. And then you also want to think about intentions. So intentions are how you want to feel or what you want to embody, where a goal is an outcome goal. So it's like something you want to achieve. So here on my intentions, in this middle bit here, I've written kind of all the ways that I want to feel. So I want to have financial security. I want to feel content and I want to have less comparison. I want to have a sense of accomplishment, a lighthearted feeling. I've felt very heavy, very, very heavy in 2020. And I just want to feel not so weighed down by what's happening. I want to feel powerful and sassy. And some of that just means that, I whack some red lipstick on. It makes me feel a bit sassier, makes me feel a little bit more confident. Yeah, I said it written here, confident, knowledge, and empowered. And then I think it's really fun to write a quote of what you want the year to be. So my quote for, what are we in, 2021, is 2021 will be the year that the seeds that I've planted begin to flourish. So there was a lot of work done in 2020, a lot of pivoting, a lot of figuring out what the hell is going on in my life. And that felt quite heavy, a lot of learning. And I've planted all those seeds. I've been sowing like crazy. And now I want 2021 to be the year that, those seeds begin to grow and begin to kind of flourish on their own. Not so much with me kind of dying in the background, making it all happen. So if journaling, if progress, if planning, if goal setting is something that you want to work on, I highly recommend you joining me for this workshop. The Move with Megan members get all of these classes, all these live classes included in their membership. The Move with Megan membership will be opening again at the end of January. So if you do want to be a part of that, you'll get access to that membership soon. Otherwise, it's £10. The link is in my bio, guys. Just head to that link. I think it says January classes or something like that. It's £10. It means it's only £5 an hour. It's a super, super accessible price for you to join. I'd love, 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 love to see you there. And if you've got any questions, do let me know. Send me a DM, anything like that. And I hope that I'll see you in the membership, or I hope that I see you in the live class. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.